Oh, yeah.
Good morning and welcome to the Bipolar Sunrise. I'm your host, Garrett Nichols.
I'm Ryan Sullivan.
Nate Dog.
Big John.
Well,
Sorry, Big Sexy.
oh yeah, that's what your hat says, Big Sexy.
Yeah.
Give a shout out to our sponsors this morning, Nature's Paradise Health Food. If you need some supplements, vitamins, proteins, health food, anything, they got it. Emporia Training Center, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to meet all your health and wellness needs. Wrestling, boxing, and jiu-jitsu. Come on anytime. Mods Tattoo Company. Our studio is located inside the lobby of Mods Tattoo. So come on down and get a tattoo by Big Sexy himself. All right, so this morning we'll get started. Anything that you guys want to talk about? I had some family stuff last weekend. You guys have anything you want to talk about? I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Nate.
Nate's just been dying to talk about some stuff.
Hey, Nate, lay it on us,
I
man.
don't have anything.
You came to the show empty-mouthed?
Always.
Jeez.
It's par for the course.
I guess that's true. I guess if we need you to look something up, though, you come prepared that way. So, I guess I was already talking about serial killers this morning because it really interests me. I wanted to tell people, look, if you guys want us to talk about a certain thing, I mean, we try to talk about mental health, but it's usually us just rambling about whatnot. But if you want to talk about something, you can email us. If you're having trouble in life and, there's people that you can reach out to. Nice. If that would have stuck, that would have been sweet.
That'd have been awesome.
There are people that you can reach out to, but you can always email the Bipolar Sunrise, and we'll try to help you out, talk about it on the show, or whatever. So I'm not sure what the email address is, but I think Ryan knows
At the bipolasunrise@gmail.com.
There you go, at the Bipolar Sunrise. So email us if you want to talk about anything. You can message in the comments under the YouTube or Facebook, wherever it's at, and we'll talk to you. I don't read the messages, but I did read one the other day that was a good one. This guy said, anybody can make a podcast nowadays, or everyone's making podcasts nowadays, and this girl commented underneath it and basically roasted us about how we can't even speak properly. I don't know, it was a whole spiel of things that I was like, at the end of it, I read to the end, I was like, so she does watch this show. All right.
Biggest fan.
So, yeah, she was right on the money. The way she described the way we act and stuff, I was like, yeah, that is right.
She is watching this.
She's like, oh, a bunch of teenage kids sitting around in the locker room or something similar to that. And I was like, yeah, that is exactly right. And so I just wanted to let you guys know that if you think that, or if you like us or anything, we're going to keep on doing it anyways. You don't have to watch, or you can watch. Like, we're going to keep doing it until we become famous. And then who's going to be laughing then?
Somewhere somebody's getting together and be like, okay, we need a list of the shittiest podcasters out there.
And they found this. Do you think I'm sure that there's some sort of I know that YouTube has like an influencer day where they bring them all on there and they give awards for whoever had the most likes and shares and that. This award for the most shared content, the most viral content. Surely we'd get invited as the bottom of the rung. The award for
the
the
least
least
they could do.
We did the least that we could. Surely the least they could do is recognize us for being the less. You think there's podcasts that are less viewed than us? Because people do watch this, a few. They start the episode.
They at least started. Do they finish it? Well, the world may never know.
The chick making the comment sounded like she watched every episode because she was on the money with her description.
We're almost famous.
Almost.
One more episode, man.
It
We
reminds
got
me of that picture that guy's, you just see in the first picture, him shaking a bottle of champagne and biting this gold medal, and then it shows him on the podium, he's in third place, and he's just fucking balling, yeah. Well,
That's us. Except we don't get the podium.
yeah, no, we're not getting that.
We're partying for the guys that did win.
I imagine if they do have those awards, and we got the least, it'd just be mailed to us.
Yeah.
And it'd be after the show so that we didn't try to show up or
Be a
something.
shitty piece of paper you hang on
It'd
the
be a
refrigerator
cease and
with a magnet.
desist letter.
A cease and desist.
We've had
Please
so many
stop.
complaints.
Can you please stop your podcast?
We've
What
already
made you
canceled.
not to make it?
You're taking up space on our server.
We literally keep creating new channels every week and adding this. Like we don't know who the Bipolar Sunrise Wink is. But it's fun. I like doing it anyway.
I enjoy
I
it.
like talking to you guys about stuff. And anyway, sorry, I was trying to talk about serial killers.
How'd that go?
Well, here we are talking about serial killers. I think that, like I was saying, there were so many in the 70s and 80s, and it blows my mind that nobody has come up with a correlation to that. I mean, I know it's already happened and it's in the past, but would we not want it to repeat itself? Like we go through another part of our century where there's 20 years of, I mean, I would imagine that the rate of deaths would be pretty significant a year. Probably not more than car crashes still,
Right.
but it puts panic in neighborhoods and surrounding communities when somebody's on the loose like that,
Yeah.
If you, right before bedtime, if you hear that there was an escape from the jail down here and it was a guy that had been put in there for breaking into homes, you're probably not sleeping good that night.
Right.
And if he never gets caught and you don't know, some people,
Double checking your doors. And,
all the time,
Yep.
like during the summer of love in the 60s, when those guys there was what was the guy's name? Son of Sam was on the loose.
Understand.
Charles Manson and his family was on the loose. There was a lot of crazy stuff going on, and there's got to be a correlation. I know the one woman speculates that she ties the serial killers in the North Pacific Northwest to smelting plants and the amount of lead in the gasoline and chemicals and things like that. And I could see that, but what about the rest of the world where they were at, and why were they so predominant in those 2 decades, the 70s and 80s?
Right.
What was happening, and was it generational? Did things happen, and it happened in the 70s and 60s that the genetic, build up to this let loose a bunch of murders all at the same time, and that, you know what I mean? Like there was a time of it went through the 30s was the Great Depression, and you had Prohibition and all this stuff leading up, and then the 60s Vietnam's popping off, and then by the 70s we were at war for 10 years. It would be weird. You'd think there'd be a lot of veterans coming back from Vietnam going crazy doing serial killing, but you never heard about any serial killer that was a Vietnam vet and had triggered him.
Well, the podcasts I've listened to, they stress that there's no correlation between serving in the armed services and like using the armed services to perfect their craft. Because there's
Right.
serial killers that did serve in the military.
Sure, yeah.
And they will constantly reiterate that there's no correlation that them serving in the military helped or aided in their killings in any way.
They just tied better knots.
Maybe so.
I see.
You always
no
they
correlation.
like, oh, this right here is a military style.
But you
knot.
also see where they struggled in the military because it was such a structured environment that a lot of these are loose cannons in a way that I'm doing what I want and don't tell me what to do. And so you see where they struggled, look at Jeffrey Dahmer. He struggled in the military. There's quite a few where they show that they ended up getting either honorably or dishonorably discharged because they couldn't handle you're not going to
Structure,
tell me
yeah.
what to do all the time.
I see. And I
But-
could see that.
The
Mhm.
Jeffrey Dahmer did learn how to sedate people
Yeah,
in
and that
the
is true.
in the
Because he
military.
was a nurse or something like that.
Yeah, he
wasn't
was like a medic, yeah, and he learned how to sedate them, and he used that uh, in his drinks that he would give the people.
But he could have learned that in medical school as well. It wasn't the
Ab-
military.
absolutely.
It wasn't the. I think the point you're making is it's not
Yeah.
the violence of the military that causes people
Right,
to be
right.
triggered into their, whatever you call it.
Right,
Frenzy.
that they were,
Frenzy, sure, yeah.
that
Yeah.
was already instilled in them. The
Right.
military didn't suddenly make them go, oh my God, I want to kill people. It was already instilled in them before they got to the military.
Yeah.
Right. Most of the time they got in the military because they were probably getting into some trouble, and that was the way that the judge said, "Hey, it's either the army or you're getting
Yep.
locked up or something."
Well, like
and they
Jeffrey
just get-
Dahmer's dad made him join.
Right.
You need
Yeah.
structure, you need to, and just like he made him join college, and he flunked out the first semester. He couldn't get up in time to go to school. He wanted to still drink and goof off, and it was that structure that he's like, I'm not gonna, I can't do what you want me to do. I want to do what I want to do.
Which is eat people. After
Yes.
Right.
Well, I don't think he knew exactly at the time, right? He might have, because he murdered the one young man while his dad was still alive, and wasn't he? His dad was still, or his parents already died at that point.
His dad was alive even when
The
Jeffrey
whole thing.
Dahmer
Okay,
died.
through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that first guy, he picked up that,
Hitchhiker.
and he was hot for him.
Yeah.
And he was hot for him too. They were
Yeah.
like,
And
yeah,
his
okay.
thing was he didn't want them to leave, and that's why he always said he ended up
Right.
killing them is because they wanted to leave and he wanted them to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you get to cutting their heads off and
Well,
to keeping them in the fridge?
Yeah, understood, absolutely. Well, and he cut their genitalia off. I mean, he put acid in their brain to try. He wanted to make a fully compliant zombie.
Slave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like didn't want to leave, would do whatever he wanted, love him, have sex with him,
Yeah.
and just would sit there and be like,
He was lobotomizing
yeah, like
guys.
drilling holes in their heads, putting
kids too,
what was it,
They'd
hydrochloric
be
acid
young.
or some
Yeah.
shit in their head.
and he'd
Jesus.
melt them.
Damn it.
He'd melt. He had a barrel in his apartment.
Yeah.
He kept having to just explain to the neighbors, no, like I had some refrigerator went
bad
off and the meat went bad. They're
Yeah.
like, man, how long is that? You gonna keep that bad meat, bud?
But what I don't get is his mom left, and they think, that started the whole abandonment issues. What I've never understood is at what point you've got, all right, say your mom left you, and you just go to therapy, and you're like, this sucks, or you just learn to deal with it, and you're like, that sucks, I miss my mom, I wish I knew her, but oh well, I don't. And Nate here is like, I miss my mom. See that dude? I'm gonna go kill him because he's gonna leave me.
It's weird they
Like
usually
it's crazy how
have,
they mutate to that.
type they do. It's not like they're just out doing random murders. It's always like, oh, she's 5'9", brown hair, brown eyes. It's always like a type too, which is kind of odd.
And that's another weird thing is they say serial killers normally stick within their own race, and yet Jeffrey Dahmer had a mix of
Everything.
everything. I mean, he had black, white, was it Laotian or
Yeah, some
Asian or
type, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't give a fuck. He was just like, don't leave me. Oh, you're gonna leave me. You're dying. Don't leave me. Oh, you're gonna leave me. You're dying. I mean, he just broke the mold for all of these supposed classic. Here's how serial killers work, and he's like, well, hold my beer.
Well, and he had a loving family. His mom and dad weren't weirdos.
But
Right.
but his mom was like
On
drugged up all
antidepressants
the
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
And then
Also, his dad
always
knew.
left.
Well, but his dad knew about the animal abuse
Right.
and stuff, and kind of I
Tried
feel like he tried
steering
to,
him in the right direction.
but I think he allowed the animal stuff and to kind of don't do it to people type situation. So I think his
Do
dad.
you think his dad had an inkling that there was something off then?
I think so.
I
Didn't
think
his
everything
dad?
together kind of does that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
didn't
there's
his dad
both
say that
sides.
he also had those urges, just never acted on it? At least in the TV series that we watched. He's
I
like,
don't remember that part, but I do remember. I think his dad knowing and sort of allowing the behavior so that he didn't.
So you think it was like a Dexter type thing? Where
Not
it
that
was,
deep. Dexter's
Right, where I mean, Dexter was a serial killer, but you think his dad saw these
I think so, and like
things
maybe,
in him and was like, hey, maybe if you cut up some animals, you'll get your fix and you'll be all right.
Yes, I do think that. 'Cause I think, like Nate said, if it's true, in fact, what Nate said, then his dad felt those urges too. He knew what his son was feeling.
Was going through.
Yeah, I mean, I see it in my kids. I can see my youngest daughter and my middle daughter. How I reacted when I was a kid to situations and overreacted and underreacted. I can see it in them. I'm like, oh, I know why she's doing this. I used to do that. She'll grow out of it. You know, it's just
Right.
hope she does it faster than me. Because it's a stubbornness. You know you're wrong, but you're like, anyway. Let's go on. Carry on your hypothesis.
No, I just, but I think that's honestly, for me, what boils down is what is it that snaps in someone that's their go-to now is I'm going to murder. Because you've got thousands of kids that their moms left, or, what is it about these specific individuals that something snapped in them and they're like, fuck you. I'm going to go, oh, you look like my mom, now I'm going to kill you. And you look like my mom, now I'm going to kill you.
So,
And I mean, that's what baffles me is what is the twist that it finally snaps.
The perfect storm.
Most people can have the twist and they learn to untwist it a little bit, and them it breaks. And now I'm a serial killer.
but it takes three. Is that what makes a serial killer
Yeah.
a serial killer?
Well,
Who come
Ed
up with
Gein
that
only
name?
killed two.
Was he really considered a serial
Because
killer?
he wasn't ever even seen as a suspect for his brother's death. They thought it was natural. He was putting out a fire and something must have fell on his head or something. They think
Killed him.
Ed knocked him out. And then
Didn't he kill those two guys in the woods and that lady?
Ed Gein, the only people Ed Gein killed was a lady at a
So they
bar and a lady at a-
sensationalized it in the show then?
I
Like them
could be
killing
wrong,
more
but
people?
I'm almost. I mean, you could look. You
Even
could
if
look
it
up.
was
I'm almost
three.
positive but regardless, there's serial killers that have only killed one. They're listed and
Right.
only have one murder. For how I don't know.
Well, and Ed Gein is one of those like Jeffrey Dahmer. He wanted to know why he was the way he was. Jeffrey wanted his brain left to science. So Jeffrey knew like something. He's like, all I've ever wanted is someone to tell me what's wrong with me.
Fix me.
Yeah, fix me, make me not this way. Where then you've got other serial killers that are like, yeah, I'm this way, and if you let me out, I'll go fucking kill another person.
You think serial
You know what I
killers
mean?
want
Like-
to be caught? They definitely like to be glorified.
I think they do at a certain point. I think they get tired. Like the chase isn't as fun for them anymore.
Right.
Like look at BTK.
He don't want anybody else taking credit for his murders.
Absolutely.
So was that if he would have been on his deathbed? Would he have been? Fuck, I got stage 3 or 4 cancer. I only got a month to live. I'm gonna come clean.
Yeah, probably. Because he wouldn't have wanted his legacy to die. I bet he would have.
Or
Right.
he wanted to be famous again one more time. People
Yeah.
talk about it, sensationalize it so he can
Yeah.
relive it.
But I do wonder because they get so sloppy, the things that get them caught, they're so sloppy that either they think I'm uncatchable.
But they're
they
overwhelmed
get
by the
sloppy.
desire to do the act.
Well, and that's a good point, that they lose sense of where they're just
They've
so,
already done it so many times. It's just like
that's a good point.
you're a normal young man, you start having sex with a girl and that's all cool, and then before long, missionary's not enough. You want to do the doggy, you want to see if her friend will join you. That's normal heterosexual stuff. And then you're wanting to get laid all the time. You're trying more, or some people are, but some people don't care, too. So the same thing. It's like you got basically a normal person and a serial killer, minus the fact that at night they stalk women or men and murder them, whatever the case is. But not all. Like obviously, people said that they was uncomfortable as fuck around Jeffrey Dahmer all the time.
Right.
Somehow he would lure guys, drug them a lot. But people and then there's some people like Ted Bundy, people want to be around. They knew he's the serial killer and they're still saying, "Oh, marry me."
Well, look at the women turnout for his trial that were just
No.
head over heels for him. And it's like, he kills nothing but women, and they're like, he's hot.
But he bludgeoned the last woman. He snuck into her house and beat her over the head with her own bedpost. Used it on her
Right.
sexually, and then left.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he wouldn't do that to you. He had 2 girlfriends throughout this whole entire thing.
Well, he was married. By the time he got executed, he was married.
Yeah, but that was like to another completely different family
Right.
thing. He was just trying to, use.
Thought it would help.
Well, he got her pregnant, didn't he? They had conjugal visit, and he has to
Yeah.
a daughter, doesn't he?
Well, and he wasn't supposed to have conjugal visits apparently, but somehow she got into the prison, or I can't remember how that whole thing went. But
Dude, imagine what a loser you have to go be a serial killer. But these women are still willing to take the chance of dying to be close to you. What is going on? So that's even a stranger phenomenon to me. There's a lot of women and women's
Fandom.
groups out there that get together and drool over these serial killers that aren't even alive any longer. He's dead. And they're still talking about how hot he is. Like, that's weird. Like, you thinking about him and pleasing yourself? He's dead. But whatever gets you going.
Weird sickos out there.
I mean, so what makes psychologically like a female attracted to a man? Because the protector aspect of things. Like, look at John. He's a big dude, got a beard, looks like he'd be a protector. I can see why women would be drawn to him. The size and that. But what would attract you to a guy that you know that you're going to get killed by? Like, it's not a maybe.
I feel bad for the kid. Like, that's got to be weird knowing you're carrying Ted Bundy's kid around.
Did the genes pass down?
And then the kid, is going to be. I'm not like, hey guys, I got a cool story for you. My dad's Ted Bundy.
I got a cool
There's
story
my dad
for
on
you.
TV again. Yeah, I love that guy. I really liked my dad.
They knew. The kid would have never met him.
I
He
know.
died.
I'm just saying, but can you imagine just having that?
Well, the other thing, that's a good point you brought up, though, because you don't hear about generational serial killers, because there's a lot of serial killers. And
That
like
have
I said,
families and
300 of them that
kids.
have families and kids, and there's not a second generation unless they like watch their dad and they're like, oh,
I can do this better.
I can do
Yeah.
it way better than Nick get caught. I don't think so, because not in 2025, there's a camera on every single person's house. You can't shoplift a piece of gum anymore without the KBI fucking raiding your house.
hell, it's the opposite. They'll change their name. They don't want, BTK's son.
Oh, I
Changed
can't
his name,
imagine.
wants nothing to do with it, never been interviewed, like, leave me the fuck alone. My dad was a psycho and I don't want anything to do with him.
Yeah, what happens though, like we find out and it skips a generation.
That's why he don't want to talk to anybody. Feels like he's a suspect too.
Right. In the next, their generation, maybe his kids or get the gene. It skips a generation and then you get that.
Yeah.
And it never gets tied together because everybody that worked on the cases are dead by the time the next generation comes around and starts killing.
I wonder how many times a serial killer's come across another serial killer.
I guarantee it's had to happen.
And
There's,
they're like,
there's got to
"Wait a
be
minute."
some secret,
Do you think a serial killer's ever gotten mad at another serial killer for serial killing on its turf?
probably.
Like that was my girl.
There's got to be some secret correspondence that they're able to do.
Just certain head nod or
Newspaper articles that you're like, oh, what?
It's like,
They
I'm
put
gonna-
this jet ski in again for a different price. Wait a second.
like I'm gonna be a hitchhiker and I'm gonna kill people, but then you got Garrett over here's like I'm gonna pick up hitchhikers and kill them all of a sudden we're both in a car like
we're trying to kill each other.
dude like oh shit drop me off up here I'll get the next car good luck to you bud.
It's like, you silly goose. I was gonna kill you. You got me.
Garrett's like, hey man, it's really nice of you to pick me up. How'd you know I'm not a serial killer? And I'd be like, well, what's the chance 2 serial killers being in the same car?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh shit. All right. Well,
I too am a
best of
serial
luck.
killer. Oh, so would that be a free pass?
Well,
Like, all right, Garrett, well, best of luck to you.
Yeah,
I'll
wish
see
you
you out
best.
there. Like your work.
The-
Tie one hell of a knot.
the two English, that couple that English got together, the woman and man, who knows how many women that they abducted and killed. They'd get women to come to their house as maids and things like that, and then just take them down to the basement, tie them up for however long, and he'd bury them in the. He made a whole patio in between like
Yep.
the houses. He dug it all
We
up.
watched that one.
I can't remember their names. It was a couple. Anyway, when he went to prison, he tried to take credit for all of it. No, it was her. She killed one of their kids. One of his kids that wasn't even hers when he was gone. And you think he'd be all upset about it, and he's like, no, I understand, no problem.
Well, let's bury this, let's cover it up.
And they did.
We won't talk about it.
Because they were taking their own kids, and they had the one marry, and they'd abused her forever, and then she got away and came back. The courts made her come back, but she brought her boyfriend with her or something. Was that the same? Anyway, they killed the older one, and then they started taking the younger one down there and abusing her, and eventually killed her. And then one of the kids at school said something, and then it all came.
It all came uncorked.
Yeah, and they buried so many kids, or not kids. They were women, men. Because they owned a whole like apartment, and they lived in the basement of it. And they would go up and like entertain people on the first floor, and then take them downstairs, and women, and she was raping them too.
Yep.
Which was unbelievable.
Because they said they had them buried in the basement too, but because the way the apartment building was built, they had to be careful how they jackhammered up the floor so the whole building didn't come in on them.
Yeah. The kids all knew about it. And then at the end of this, finally they moved up to the first floor, and they had like 7 or so kids, and they put a jail cell down in the cellar with an iron gate and just left the kids down there.
And kennel,
Basically.
kennel train these things.
Then there was that one guy and girl, they would go lure women and put them in like a coffin sized box, and then just pull them out once in a while and assault them over and over and put them back in the box. And he had a videotape, or a recording that he would play for them. And it would start, the very start of it was like, you've been kidnapped, you're now essentially a slave, and we're going to what he says, I'm going to grape you in every hole that you have, and it just goes on from there, telling her how
Damn.
you
That's
will
rough.
address me as sir only when I address you, and and he did this to multiple women, like lots, like 20, 30 that they know of, that he would
Damn.
abduct. And him and her, it was like couples. And then there was the Asian guy and like the hillbilly looking white dude that would break into people's houses, and they videotaped all their stuff. And those tapes, they don't show the act, but they did record it, all that on these. This one, they broke into the woman's house, her kid was there, they eventually killed the kid. And
I wonder if watching it over and over again kind of, when you're recording it, is that one of those deals you're like, okay, we're going to take a break for a while, but then you're like, hey, we're going to make some popcorn and watch these videos. And then you get to talk about it, like, you know what, it's been a while, we probably should do this again, I need a new video.
I don't know, again,
Maybe,
like how
maybe the videos do satisfy them for a while, take the urges away.
or it might be some of that narcissistic deal. They want to see how good they did, and they might show people even, because they do say some of the serial killers eventually get caught by bragging to a friend about that they see a clip come up at the bar and like, yeah, I did that or something. And because like I said, these people, a lot of these guys are pretty functioning. Some of them aren't. They're locked away in the woods, Ed Gein style, but some of them are just like narcissistic sociopaths that are out there mingling in with society, interjecting
in the
themselves
grass.
they're getting involved in the cases. Hell, that one guy Ted Bundy. Had the governor's blessing. He was working on the campaign for one of the governors and would go to the other, pose as a opposite side and work for that guy to get information and bring to the governor. So he was like, he was also the suicide hotline. Like, he had gotten an award for being the best operator for this crisis hotline at a center that he worked at. He was really high functioning in society. He was going to school to be an attorney.
Well, look at Ed Kemper. He hung out at the local place that all the troopers hung out at.
Yep.
And they would willingly tell him stuff. They thought he was a cool guy. Tell
He
him
couldn't
stuff
get in
about
only because he was too big.
too big.
They were telling him about the cases
they
that he
hung
had
out,
done.
yeah. They'd tell him about the cases, all kinds of stuff, and he'd just sit there and drink coffee and hang out with them.
Like there's Uncle
Who's
Ed,
this?
Ed Kemper?
He was an Australian dude, right?
No, he was American.
Okay, he was American. Yeah, there was an Australian dude that had a similar
Ed Kemper.
genius.
But like he
6'9".
said, 6'9",
145 IQ.
400 pounds,
Okay,
and
yeah,
he's
that
just
guy.
a beast of a guy.
And he killed his
He
first.
killed his mom and her best friend. Called the best friend over after he called the mom.
That was
and
his
murdered
last
her.
killing.
Yeah, and then turned himself in.
He killed his
Drove for
grandparents.
hours and then was like, "Oh my God, they're gonna catch me!" And called and turned them in. They didn't even know it was him that did it.
His grandpa bought him a 22. He had a really troubled childhood. Like I said, his mom would lock him in the basement and whatnot. He killed his grandparents. That grandpa got him a 22 so he could kill animals. And the grandma always got on him about killing birds, and so he loved killing birds because his grandma wouldn't let him. And one day he come in, he shot his grandma, and then his grandpa came home and he shot him too. He was too young for them to do anything about it because he's like 8, wasn't he?
He was young.
He
I
was-
don't remember how young, but he was young.
He was so young that they couldn't do anything to him. They put him in some kind of a
Well, and it
youth
was in
mental-
what, the 50s?
Yeah.
You know, so back then it
Yeah.
wasn't like now where it's like you're tried as an adult.
Right.
It was like, oh, you're going to a school till you're 18.
Then they let him out, and the counselors and the psychiatrists and psychologists all said, do not put him back with his mom. And they put him right back with his mom. And then, I mean, he started killing. He got an apartment for a while, got a job with the road department. I mean, he was doing it.
The word serial killer is not even that old of a word. I think it came out in like the 60s or 70s, maybe.
It wasn't until the FBI started interviewing Ed Kemper and all these people
Yeah.
that they coined the term serial killer.
Well, because of we've only become a society here we've only been here 200 years in America. So like serial killer before they imagine, I've told you guys, I've talked about this on the show before, at least kind of what I've adopted the idea of. If you had a village, a tribe that only had 50 people in it, it's pretty easy at that point to figure out who's the sociopath. We've got little
Right.
Billy's a liar. He lies about everything. We got little
Right.
Timmy that he kills every animal, even if it ain't a deer for the pack, he'll kill it just savagely. You know, they can kind of identify those. Now you got two tribes that end up merging together. This tribe ended up with 100. Now you got 150 people. It's a little bit harder to identify. Well, now you have a city of Emporia with 24,000 people. We don't know who our neighbor is.
Mhm.
Very hard to identify a sociopath and spot those and then pass it on to our friends and neighbors in that manner. We only start to point it out after they've done the act. And like, oh yeah, he's been weird for years. All the neighbors come out. Yeah, we've seen him killing dogs and everything else. We just thought he was weird.
Yeah, that's a real weirdo.
You know, like, yeah, well, you know, okay, you might report this, but you don't, because it's like not a societal norm. But when there's only oral tradition, the only way, there's no telephones or anything, the only way we sit around at night and tell stories, and it ain't wild stories, it's like, here's the news today. We were down by the creek and found 2 dead deer drinking out of this pond. We think this is the second time. We think there's poison in that water or something. You know, they're communicating this. Hey, there's been some kids missing from the village. It's probably another tribe of people stealing kids because their numbers are getting low or something like that. But you know, so you could spot those things. But in today's society, people slip through the cracks. We've got citizens living in the United States that aren't citizens at all. We've got kids that are born in the United States that don't have a birth certificate that nobody even knows about. Born into, you know, indentured servitude, born into homes that are just in poverty, in complete poverty, so they don't go to the hospital. They're living in the Appalachian Mountains, having kids left and right. They've never been registered at all. A kid born on the streets of Los Angeles, California, to a homeless woman that's on drugs and gets dropped off at a police station, or she tries to raise this kid out on the streets and it dies, or
It's taken away.
it's
or-
taken, still kidnapped. You know, there's just so much that can happen, and historically, we've only been a country for a couple hundred years, and all this stuff has already happened. Imagine, like, I think about back to the fall of Rome. It was probably a lot like this. You had giant communities. They had probably serial killers roaming the streets and serial theft, habitual thieves, and hedonism, all that stuff. That in a smaller tribe, that's not. You're not doing that. You're not having wild sex parties
Right.
at a tribe. Look, we got work to do tomorrow. Like we don't have time for that. We got to worry about food for the rest of the tribe. We can't have this one sociopath over here stealing the meat every time we get it. He goes and feeds it to the bears. You know, he's crazy. We correct this action, and back then the corrective action was, well, you can't steal if you don't have hands, or if you're dead.
Right.
We don't do that. We're civilized now. We give them a trial and go through all this process, and sometimes there's flaws in the system, and then they slip
Through the cracks.
It's a odd time, but it's really not as odd. It's really, the oddness is that crime has went probably up. Different violent crime has went up. Gun crime certainly has went up, but serial killing went down. But then school shootings are up. Mass murder is up. Remember that guy in Vegas here, 2012?
Yep.
Traps
Shot
all
from
those
the window.
people from the window of the motel. There was a lot of conspiracy theorists about it. Regardless, the guy went nuts and did it. It was forgotten about immediately. I mean, I remember all the time because I keep thinking something's going to break in that. No, it's completely been, you don't hear about it at all. Nothing at all.
I've seen a few documentaries about that, and of course, no matter how you have it, you're always going to have one like, did it really happen? Was it organized by the government? You can't just be sending a guy up there with a gun.
Shooting a concert up.
Yeah. I don't know. We're only, like I said, we're so manipulated by media.
Well, I know, but to even take the media out of the equation, that happened. School shootings happen. They're often forgotten about almost as quickly as they happen. But why the lack of serial killers, but the uptick in, it's just more out in the open. The
Or
murders
do we
you're
have
seeing it
less
in broad daylight
serial
all the
kill-
time.
Do
Are
we
we
have less
saturated?
serial killers, or are we so saturated with the other that we have the same amount of serial killers, but the other stuff is so sensational that that's what's taking the limelight right now? Like, oh, 3 people dead in Los Angeles, or school shooting. Now 4 people dead in Los Angeles, or Charlie Kirk got shot.
Or what if
5
because
people
there's
dead in Los
so-
Angeles, or you know what I mean?
Right. There's so much. Listen to them at work. I listen to them. These true crime podcasts. I feel like at this point in time, if I was going to do it, I'd be able to get away with it. So maybe these guys have learned from the mistakes of, because narcissism does go a long way. Like, I'm smart, but I'm so smart, I'm gonna see where all these guys failed
Better.
and not make that mistake, not get sloppy. And so they've refined these and they've figured out how to hide the bodies. That's what gets you. No
It's the
face, no
body.
case. You know what I mean? Like, if there's no body, that one guy, oh man, there was one guy that was feeding bodies to his hogs, and they found, like, or maybe that was just a show I watched.
No, it's a thing.
He fed hundreds of people to pigs. They found, like, pairs of shoes,
They were
like,
prostitutes.
yeah, and they
The
found, like,
brothers up in, where was that? It was up north somewhere. They're kind of a well-known, like,
there was a whole family, right?
yeah.
Okay. I thought I was kind of making this up, or I was putting 2 stories together.
Well, you might kind of be doing that too, because
Okay.
this ain't the first time the hog thing's been done. But yet, he's getting these prostitutes. God, they were brothers, but I don't think the one brother knew, and they were pretty well respected in the community and always helping out. They throw these big parties at the farm, I guess. But yeah, I can't remember that guy's name. I do remember that story though. There was a documentary series on it.
That'd be the way, though. That'd be a really good way to because the hogs eat everything, but
Mhm.
can't keep their clothes and their personal items.
Right.
Because it seems like he had kept all their IDs and stuff, and that's how they knew. Well, there was a guy here in, wasn't it Leavenworth, that they found barrels here back in early 2000? Early 2000, they found like 50 barrels with bodies in them right here in Kansas. Wasn't there, right? Yeah, yeah, look that up.
I don't remember that one.
I don't know if that was 50. I may be glamorizing that, but it was like a lot of, they were found in barrels.
But did he kill him?
Yeah.
Because there was another one that I heard something similar to that, but the guy had a mortuary and it got too expensive to do this, so he was just putting dead bodies on
I
his
think
property.
that was recent. That was real recent that happened, and that was
Okay.
like in Texas or something like
They
that. Or was
ever-
that here?
Canadian killer that fed 49 prostitutes.
What's the name of the-
Wow.
There was a show, but they were called the
Robert Picton, a pig farmer in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, preyed on vulnerable women, primarily sex workers. And between 1978 and 2001, he'd lure the victims to his farm, kill them, and feed their remains to his pigs to conceal the evidence.
Yeah.
He also allegedly ground some remains into mincemeat and mixed it with pork that was sold to the public.
Nice.
This tastes a little gamey.
Raw.
Go ahead, Nate.
John Robinson Sr. Was a serial killer convicted in 2002 of murdering women and storing their bodies in barrels on properties in Kansas, Missouri, and he was based in Olathe, but bodies on his Lynn County farm, major Kansas City areas. Just, yeah, he stored bodies in barrels.
How many of them? 47? And what year was that?
2002.
Yeah, I knew it was pretty early 2000s that had happened, and that was because that was pretty close to home, and he'd been doing that for quite some time. I think that he had a good significant amount of bodies in barrels, which is wild. He was burying them too, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Burying the barrels.
Mm-hmm. I'm not positive if that's the case, but I'm pretty sure. But anyway, I mean, it was 25 years ago now or so, but
Says that he was convicted of at least 8.
that's still a lot.
One's a lot.
One's a
gonna
lot.
say,
Yeah, one's
no
probably over the
shit.
limit, you know.
I
One's
was gonna
probably too
say
many.
that's the problem is we've gotten so sensationalized with, Bundy killed 37 people,
DC
Green River killed
50s,
60 whatever, and now you hear, oh, he killed 4 people. You're like, that's it.
What's the most, Nate, that some
He just got started.
what's the most that anybody's responsible for? Because I know that there's some
Green River is who they, I think, still claim to be the most
they don't
prolific.
know. Because he would lie, and he would say take, but then he would talk about cases that they'd never.
But I think of actual charges of women that it was like 47
46,
or
47.
There
yeah.
was another
so
guy.
I think not counting, they said you could probably double that, and that's what he had done. Last I knew, he was still the most prolific.
I've watched.
They were saying he might be taking sometimes 2 girls in a day, and he'd hold them for a while too.
Well, and you
And-
watch the interviews with him, and he would say, when I got off work, I would cruise the strip, like it was a need. It was I had to. I had to go look at him. I had to. And then perfected his craft by making himself, like I said, used his kid, and then would have his kid in the truck with him. When the picture didn't work, he'd bring his kid with him. And this kid's just playing in the truck while daddy's out back fucking slaughtering a hooker. Like, it's crazy.
What did you
And
find
that-
out, Nate?
Well, it says Luis Gravito killed 193 people. He's a Colombian serial killer known as La Bestia.
That was
It's-
back in Joan of Arc days, though, wasn't it?
1990s.
Oh, 1990s.
Okay. So
And then
close.
Harold Shipman, estimated 250.
I think that's what I'm thinking. He's from
Holy
here in the United
shit.
States, though,
Yeah,
right?
he's known as Dr. Death. He was a British general practitioner.
Okay.
And then Samuel Little, 93. He's from the U.S. Yeah, mostly women.
That's crazy.
Pedro Lopez claimed to have murdered over 300 girls.
What?
So
1998.
That was in Mexico?
Ecuador.
Ecuador. Oh, damn,
there
imagine.
was a
That's a very
guy
small
here,
country.
which I was kind of waiting for him to pop up on the list. I think he's killed more people than anybody else, and he had a documentary about this, and he was actually helping the police out. He'd be drinking coffee, they'd bring him, and he was like working with the police. He's behind bars, but they're like, hey, you want to admit to any other murders? Oh yeah, I'll be then if you guys get me like a cup of
Oh, I
coffee.
saw the documentary on
So
that.
then he
yeah.
admitted to all these murders just because, and they were just, okay, he admitted to it. They're putting the thing out. He's like, yeah, girl, red shoes, red shirt. Yeah, I remember that. I was over on the north side of this ditch over here. He was reading the information out. So he had the shit, but they were giving him the information and he was just admitting to this shit because, well, he's doing life in prison.
Yeah, well,
so they're just
well,
bringing him
he was
coffee and smoking
super
cigarettes
lonely,
and-
so he got to hang out with the cops. As long
No
as he
cops,
kept
no nothing.
admitting to death,
So they were just
they would
writing
hang
these
out
off.
with him.
And they made the police department look so good because like, oh man, we're just solving all these cases.
Yep.
Well, then they went back and tried figuring it out. They're like,
He couldn't have
he's
been there.
admitting to stuff over here, but he was on the clock working at another place. He wasn't even anywhere in the state when that
Yep.
shit was going on.
Yeah.
Specifically in the U.S., Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, 48 murders, confessed to killing 70. Ted Bundy, 30 murders.
Jeez, and they don't know because Ted Bundy had a graveyard, and he said he had another one, and
Yeah.
he said he had several in the mountains.
He was gonna say he was using them as leverage to keep postponing his death sentence, and finally, when they realized he just wasn't gonna tell them, they said, "Fuck it, we're killing you anyway."
Yeah, good.
And then John Wayne Gacy, 33 teenage boys, 1970s.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really a mind-blowing one to me. Is on paper that guy is normal as the day is long, and that's what.
The
That's
whole
the
clown
picture
thing.
of a guy that is terrifying to me.
Oh yeah.
Blended in, was part of his city government, loved by everybody. Like even when he was caught, there was people like,
No
He
way.
would be-
You got the
no.
wrong person.
There's
definitely.
pictures of him with all kinds of upper echelons
Yeah.
of the city.
people
he would go to
fight,
parties.
like to the point that one of the kids escaped, went to the police and said, "Here's the house I came from," and they're like, "No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't."
Obviously, you're fucked up. You
No.
don't know.
You're on drugs. Like, yeah, I'm on drugs because that guy drugged me. I'm
Right.
like, no.
I mean,
no.
that's the people that keep you up at night. That, you're ones where it's like, not that the others aren't any less scary, I guess, but the chameleon nature of Gacy.
He had
was
equipment in
just-
his house to lock him up with.
Ugh.
He had torture stuff. Like, he'd lock him in devices and assault him until he would.
And then I think it's the preying on the young boys.
Yeah, that's.
And
that's what's
again, not
weird
that
one.
sex workers are any less human, but it's one of those you choose to be where you're at, where at that time in society, you were taught to respect your elders, you could trust your elders, and he completely raped that out of these kids.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Where sex workers, again, I don't mean any disrespect, but you're putting yourself in that situation. I get it, hungry, whatever. Again, I'm not trying to shit on sex workers, but you had a choice to get in with the vehicle with that guy or not. These boys are, hey, go over to Mr. Gacy's house and, or hey, it's Mr. Gacy, yeah, I'll go with you. Like, just completely destroyed the fabric of trust that was instilled in people at that time,
Yeah. That's
Now we
crazy.
tell our kids, don't get in the car with anybody. I mean, unless it's, like Piper, unless it's John or you, I don't give a shit who the fuck they say they are.
Yeah.
I've got a list of probably 3 people that I'd let my kids get in the car with. And
Yeah, that's
outside of
what
that,
it is.
I don't care. Yeah, I know so-and-so, but I don't know them well enough that they're ever going to tell you to come get in the car with
I
you.
remember having this conversation with my kids when they were younger because was like, just because, I was like, they hung out at the tattoo shop. They seen a lot of people in and out of here, and they see me overly friendly, like, hey, how are you doing? Like, I act like I've known these people. Or I may have ran into them a few times at a bar. So my kids are looking at this like, okay, he's friends with Dad, or I've seen him in the shop a few
I can
times.
see where you're.
So I was like, listen, guys, if you're ever walking and somebody says, hey, get in the car, and you know them and you've seen them at the tattoo shop, and you see me be nice to these people or whatever, just people in business anyway, I was like, they're not really my friend, you know? I don't really know them. I'm just a friendly guy, you know,
Yeah.
business-wise. So I definitely had to really ingrain that into their head. Just because you've
Yeah,
seen
I
them,
can
know
see
'em,
that.
doesn't
Absolutely.
mean that you can get in a car with them.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, and that goes back to, again, the way that our structure of society is so large. The per capita in Emporia is big, but you think about Chicago, Illinois, and the danger that because statistically you have more people, you're going to have more options for people that are crazy, and especially depending on your geographic location. If you're in, you know, a bad part of Chicago, the chances of death are way higher for you. The chances of getting in a assaulted, robbed,
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
anything go up. In Emporia, there's zero places in town that I would be afraid to walk through at night. Nowhere. There's nowhere in town where I'd be like, ooh, this is a bad neighborhood. I'm worried. This is me. People aren't generally gonna go have a confrontation here in Emporia with a guy that looks like me at night in a dark place. It's probably not
Right.
gonna happen. Chicago.
They're the guy
Illinois.
that's like waiting for the guy to come through the alley, and then you come through, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll catch the next one."
Yeah. Yeah. Or get the next
Never
one.
mind.
Guy looks like he might take care of himself. But
Damn it!
Chicago,
Been
Illinois,
waiting here for hours for
there's
a
a
guy
whole
to come
group
through
of
the
young
alley.
guys.
It had to
with
be
guns.
Garrett.
There's no fear. You know that what I mean? Like you're the victim there. I'm the victim in Chicago. I'm not walking anywhere alone without a weapon.
I want to say there's bad parts in Emporia, but there's times that are bad to be out. Like you're higher risk in the dark for sure to get jumped. So me and you're gonna be fine. But let's send Katie or your daughter out.
Right.
You're gonna let them walk around 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon is way safer for sure. But that's everywhere.
But 2 o'clock in the morning, bars closing down. A young girl out walking around.
I'd worry
Hey
about-
man, can I give you a ride? And then
Right.
drunk takes over. Things could happen in that way. But malicious people going out doing things. It's not. I don't think if there's not as much of a risk. It's still a risk.
But I'm kind of like Miss Bill. You know, she works at the bar. She's 17. She gets off work around 3 o'clock. But at least like the bar, they escort her out to her car and make sure
That's
she gets
good.
in it, locks the doors. And I really do.
Yeah,
Like
that's
Miss
good.
Bell being a bartender here in Emporia, not worried about it. If she was
Right.
this age in Kansas City, and it's one of those things too. I know Susan and Jason for years. Now, would I let her just work at a bar not knowing anything about the place? I'd definitely do my homework.
Mhm. I'm glad they walk her to her car.
Yeah.
That's cool. Good.
I remember when I was bartending as a young man, they'd have to walk me to my car because all the girls would be waiting for me out in the parking lot
I remember getting
Oh.
walked to my car.
by the police.
What was their car?
Yeah.
The police were waiting for you too.
Like, we've got a lot of complaints tonight, sir. You're supposed to be serving beer, not copping feels. Thought it was the same thing.
She gave me money.
Donald Trump said it was okay. Oh.
Oh my God.
So you think it's gonna get worse or better with the serial killing? And what would cause it to be? You think if there was like a power outage or all electrical, no cameras, do you think people would be apt to be more likely to kill? Or do you think once it's already there, it doesn't
I
matter if
think
there's
times of war, or we laugh, but the zombie apocalypse, I think a major thing is where you would see people's horrible colors coming out. So I think if, say we, God, I hope we don't, but say we had a civil war, I think you would see that's where your killers would come, because you're gonna see bodies everywhere anyway, and so that's where I think their tendencies would become unhinged.
You think it'd be survival though, or just serial killing?
I think it would be killing for the sake of killing.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you think about it too, like you had talked about earlier, that the military, people joining the military has no correlation to them that are gonna be serial
Right, I'm
killers.
not
But
saying they're in the
in-
military.
in a war type environment.
Where
But I think
people are unaccounted for anyway.
I get what you're saying, but most of these, not most. See, I'll make a general statement about at least my experience in learning about different types of killers are they usually have a specific way that they like to do it. They have a type of woman or male. And Dahmer was like teenage young men, you know. Bundy liked girls that looked like his girlfriend at home, brunette, shoulder length hair. You know, he had a type. So they may have no problem or remorse by just killing a normal person, but they wouldn't do it in the manner that they wanted to. It wouldn't be the same. They're
I think
looking
it would be. I just think that it's like, hey, look over here. You know what I mean? They're going to use it's opportunity.
Yeah.
There's killing going on. Everyone's focused on this, and they're like, the world is my playground.
The
now.
purge.
Yes.
It
Where
could be, yeah.
I think, police presence would be more on whatever else. I think they would use the opportunity
like as
to
to do their
to
thing.
do their thing.
So even though everybody else is fighting for their lives, they're still in the shadows doing what they're doing under the cover of
I would think.
wartime type.
I would.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I think that you would see, but I think you'd see all manners of the worst sides of people come out. I think you'd see looting. I think you'd see.
Well, but look
You know what I mean? I
there was
think
very
you
limited
just see
access.
horrible sides of humanity.
think in the 60s and 70s when we had the highest rate of serial, or 70s and 80s when we had the highest rate of serial killers, there was no smartphones. There was no access to pornography like there is to the degree there is today.
Right.
And you're not seeing an influx in that type of behavior. You're actually seeing it go down. Is it because some people are able to get their
kicks off on the internet?
Just watching stuff like
Eh,
that.
very
and then
well
probably,
could be.
and then you can go the other way too, that somebody that wasn't that way
Now I am.
saw
Give me
it,
an idea.
and then they're like, ooh,
Well,
and then they start looking for stuff that looks like that, but
They
worse.
even say porn is part of the deal with relationships and not making babies. Is this new generation's like, why would I get in a relationship and have to share my money and stuff when I can just watch porn and call it a night?
Well, it's not only that, but because of, I believe, this is just my thought, that we had such strong waves of feminism throughout the 60s and 70s. Women didn't have the same rights that they had before the 1960s, before the civil rights movement was so strong, especially in the case of women. Women are now in the workforce, completely saturated in the workforce. It's not men and women staying at home. The divorce rate is like 50%. So a lot of these kids are also growing up in broken households, half with mom half the time, half with dad, or visitation schedule.
Right.
So you got to take all that in consideration. 1950, Leave It to Beaver was the idea. We didn't
Right.
get divorced. My dad might come home and slap mom around when he got drunk a little bit, but she ain't leaving him.
Right.
You keep it in the household. It's quiet and under
Don't
wraps.
talk about it.
Then as the 70s start to emerge, 60s came through, psychedelics came in. They came in with the Sweeping Psychedelics Act and shut that down. So now people are looking into crack and heroin as the drug of choice starting to happen.
Okay.
You have the crack epidemic during the 80s. We've had now the opium epidemic in the 90s and
It's
2000s.
like fentanyl now.
Fentanyl now. I mean, we go through these stages plus war. We've been at war. We were at war starting in the 90s and over in the Middle East and didn't leave until, Biden in 2020, 2021 or whatever pulled the troops out 20 years later. Vietnam was right before that. My whole life has been war.
Or, yep.
And then there's all kinds of things that you have to take into consideration, like what societally is what we're thinking about. But a lot of these serial killers, like Jeffrey Dahmer's parents were a loving family, as it seemed. Ted Bundy In fact, his sister was his mom. So he grew up thinking his mom and dad were his mom and dad, but they were actually his grandparents, and his sister was his mom because
Right.
she got pregnant at a very young age. He didn't find out until he was a teenager or so. That might have
Triggered
triggered
for
something
sure.
in there. The trust
Right.
issues for sure. To say the least, it's hard to
Right.
trust people when you
Right.
thought your mom and dad was your mom and dad and they were your grandparents and your
Right.
sister was your mom. I bet for me, it was, you know what really has, my whole life, I talk about you guys all the time, like my parents lying to me about Santa Claus and everybody in the world going along with it. I'm like, what if everybody will mass lie to kids to push this stupid narrative of consumer holiday? Apparently you want your kids to spend money on bullcrap. That perpetuated lie continues through history right now. And I'm like, that day, that's fucked with me my whole entire life. I know people think it's crazy, but I was lied to. I knew it. I told you. I proved it.
You're gonna
And
be
then
okay
you-
though? You don't wanna go kill people.
Well, that's the thing. Why don't I?
Why don't I? Damn it, I want to.
The Santa Claus killer.
That's what, God dang it. What a terrible nickname. Thanks, Nate.
Well, you can break into people's houses and people wouldn't think much of it. Just a big fat guy with a beard.
Ho, ho, ho.
I got something for you. Did you just pull that out of your sock? It's a bad day to be a serial killer. I can just imagine, like, all right,
I just beat them all with lumps of coal.
got like, yeah, it's about time to start killing, and then you like on your way out the door and you slip down some stairs and break it. Like, fuck. Oh man, I can't wait till this leg heals up. I really have an itching to kill somebody.
You can only kill on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I bet you break your
Imagine
leg
that.
on that
Yeah,
year.
there's a guy wearing a red Santa suit. People are like, yeah, they're all over.
Yeah.
It's small.
Dang.
Halloween would be a good time.
Oh yeah, wouldn't it? Well, they made movies about that.
Yeah.
And a matter of fact, you're right, because I don't think they ever figured out who the Scream guy is. Yeah, what's up? I don't think they ever
Want to
found.
watch a scary movie?
Yeah. I do. This isn't it. Well, you know, have you guys seen the previews? A guy at work watched it and he said it was really good. I think it's called The Walk or something like that. They have to walk for 24 hours
Stephen
straight,
King's movie.
keeping it 3 hours or keeping a 3 mile an hour per pace, and then they win like whatever you want. You get whatever you want. You get a wish and you get millions, and then it's pretty wild. I guess I've seen the previews for it, and he said, I thought, man, it's one of those movies that the previews are the best part. But he's like, no, man. He said, it is good all the way through. He said, it's just, because there's a lot of caveats to why these guys are doing the walk and what they're going to do when they get the money, and,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
one
a
of them
good
didn't
book.
make it. Oh, you've read the book?
Yeah,
Maybe I ought to do that before
it's a
I watch
good
it.
book.
But anyway, so anybody else, just you've read the book?
Read the book, haven't seen the movie, but read the book.
I did see. Is this a newer movie?
It's out in theater right
Yeah,
now.
I seen a thing with Stephen King, which I ain't seen. He was on some show, or maybe I stumbled across him and was having an interview with somebody about this new movie coming out. It looked pretty interesting. He seemed pretty excited about it.
It's a long walk, or
I'm not sure what it's called. Something
Walk.
to do with the walk, but
Nate's gonna get it for us.
Do you remember? I guess it probably was a book too, if I remember right, called The Lottery.
yes.
So is it kind of like that? Like
The Long Walk.
The long walk.
Have you read Adjustment Day? It's Chuck Palahniuk, the same guy that wrote Fight
No,
Club.
you
I
told me I
you
need
about
to
it.
read it. I haven't
Oh,
read
man.
it yet.
Read it this week, and you'll come in next weekend with your. You'll be like, because there's so many things that you could just correlate to today. I mean, it just the overlapping. If it went down like this, you'd be like, oh my, you could see. It just read it.
Okay.
It's not like a super long book either, and it's pretty easy to get into from the very first chapter, because like they open up with describing this chick named Shasta. She's a half black, half white chick, and I mean the way they describe her in the book, you're like, and so is every other guy, like she's seen. So it hooks you right away, because then it goes on into the next, because it's following several different people's journey through this, and so it skips through their journey, and you're waiting for it to get back to Shasta again. You're like, oh, what's going on with Shasta, know, she sounds hot. At least that was my experience. Yours could be different. What time you got there?
8:29.
I know, I was seeing if he knew. Ryan. Dang. Well, what do you think? You guys want to wrap it up?
Sure.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, leave a comment on Facebook. And we'll catch you guys next weekend.
Hopefully we have it more adult-like this time.
I doubt it.
We kept to a pretty same topic though. It was murder all
I
the way
did.
through, which usually we were all over the place.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Bigfoot.
Murder he wrote.
Yeah.